but good intentions. My goal is to illuminate the political changes occurring in affluent democracies and discuss their implications. As a young professor at Florida State University, I co-edited a book on public opinion and voting in the early 1980s, Electoral Change in Advanced Industrial Societies. One of the main findings was the emergence of a new cultural cleavage in democratic party systems from Europe to North America to Japan. Now, many of the observations in those chapters seem prescient on the nature of contemporary politics. The old conflicts over economic conditions and the role of the state are still with us, albeit in different forms. What is new, or really not so new, is the stark conflict over cultural issues that were just beginning to affect Democratic Party systems in the 1970s. Even if Hillary Clinton had won the 2016 U.S. elections, the needs of those displaced by economic change or suffering from limited opportunities would have still existed. Even if the British had voted to remain in Europe, the frustrations of the exit voters would remain. The dissatisfaction that motivated some Germans to vote for the AfD in 2017 goes beyond ethnocentrism to the social and economic grievances of those citizens. Democracy exists to resolve such conflicts. Any book is not just a single person's effort, and I owe a great deal to friends and colleagues who helped in this research. First, I would like to thank the many scholars who participated in the European election studies that are the primary basis of the research presented here. This is a rich and unparalleled source for studying the evolution of public opinion and partisanship in Europe, pairing both citizen and elite surveys. I am indebted to those who collected these data and who have shared them with the international research community. Russell J. Dalton, Hollywood, California. 1. The evolution of political competition. The rise of new parties running on alternative election platforms and recent unpredicted election outcomes from Brexit to Donald Trump's 2016 victory in the United States heightened the sense that politics is changing in fundamental ways. Indeed, much of the contemporary research on citizens, elections, and parties emphasizes the dramatic changes we are now witnessing. The issues of political debate seem to be rapidly changing, and new issues arise to challenge older, familiar themes. Voters are more fluid in their political choices, rather than following habitual voting loyalties. Election outcomes also appear more volatile, and the number of competing parties is increasing. At one level, I agree with this description, and I have contributed to research on electoral change. Yet at the same time, there are elements of our political past and future that reflect continuity. Many of the issues in contemporary debates are a continuation of long-standing cleavages. The economic cleavage is the most notable example. The economic issues of the post-World War II era might have been resolved, but new manifestations of the same underlying values are still at hand. In addition, many of the supposedly new issues of affluent democracies reflect a broad cultural cleavage dealing with the tension between the progressive forces of social modernization and advocates for the status quo. Electoral politics is always complex because of the changing context and content of each election. This applies even when we think of electoral politics as a one-dimensional Downsian competition, but it becomes more complex when we consider a multidimensional space of political competition. Voters and parties have to make choices on two or more competing political cleavages. For voters, the ideal choice is not as apparent as in a simple left-right one-dimensional world. For parties, the appropriate strategy to balance distinct voter bases becomes more complex. And too often, it seems, candidates and parties use the complexity of multiple cleavages to mask their real intentions from the voters. Promise A and deliver B seems more common in contemporary elections. This is one reason why spatial modeling experts say that chaos can occur when politics is structured in multidimensional terms. Equally important